Sorry to bother you, ma'am.
the officer said after I had opened the door.
Do you have a moment?
A moment for what? I asked.
We're looking for a missing girl, who was last seen walking down the street.
He gestured towards the road behind him. That's awful, I replied.
Do you mind if I come inside and ask you a few questions?
Of course not. I stepped aside and led him into the house. As long as you don't mind watching an old woman crochet while we talk. I smiled.
That won't be a problem, ma'am.
He said. The officer followed me into the living room, where he waited until I sat in my rocking chair before taking a seat on the couch.
What are you making?
He asked as I retrieved my crochet bag from the floor. A doll. I pulled it out of the bag and showed it to him. I was just about finished with it when you knocked on the door.
I'm really sorry about disturbing you.
The officer apologized. It's no bother, I said. I'm happy to help you in any way I can. As I spoke, I reached into the pocket of my sundress to remove the marble I had stored there, but in the process, I dropped it, and it went rolling across the floor where it stopped at the officer's feet.
Oops.
He said, bending over to retrieve it. He got up and returned it to me. Once it was in my hand, I set about stitching it up into the doll's head.
What's that for?
The officer asked. It's the doll's soul, I explained with a smile. Before I stitched the doll's head closed, I looked down at the marble and the face of the screaming child trapped within it. I put one inside every doll I make. I pointed to the shelf of dolls behind him.